Hurricane Humberto, soon to be Hurricane Imelda, both about to rake Bermuda for about 48 hours worth of tropical storm and perhaps even hurricane conditions. Meanwhile, uh, we've got dry weather for the next 7 to 10 days at least. And in fact, most of the country is going to be in a very dry scheme as we move through the rest of this week and into the weekend. We will have all of that. So sit back and enjoy tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And you can enjoy it more if you shop on Amazon using our referral link. I promise you that. It's an easy way to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast because it doesn't cost you anything other than whatever it is you're going to buy. So use our link to do your Amazon shopping, and Amazon tosses us a little bit of coin. And that way, this live podcast stays commercial free. And we thank those of you who have done so and shopped on Amazon to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And if you don't have a weather station yet, get the Tempest by WeatherFlow weather station. It's the weather system that allows you to join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The link for this tonight is pinned to the top of the chat board, and the others are on the description to this podcast on YouTube underneath the title. There's a special coupon code for Joe and Joe users, Joe Rayo, and that coupon code is
Autumn 2025.
And if you use it, you will get
10% off, Joe.
And that's on anything you purchase, by the way, from Tempest. And we thank those of you who have bought weather stations on Tempest. So, very interesting with Imelda, by the way. The high clouds have streamed all the way up. They have fanned all the way up into southern New England, and there's actually even some radar echoes over parts of southern New Jersey. I don't think any of that is really reaching the ground. You got to go down into southern Virginia and North Carolina for that. But it's going to follow Humberto, which is going to be making the turn tomorrow to the northeast. That one goes north of Bermuda. Imelda, which will probably strengthen to a hurricane, will actually could possibly go over the island. They're going to have a rough 48 hours of weather to get through.
Indeed, they are going to have to deal with at least rough seas and maybe some squally conditions, courtesy of Humberto. And then, as you mentioned, Joe, a couple of days later, look what happens. Right over, or very nearly over, Bermuda will go Imelda. So, as you just said, a very active period if you're on the island of Bermuda. But if you happen to live here in the Northeast, lay back, relax, take a look at those mid and high level clouds in our sky now and into the first half of tomorrow. Then they'll clear away and skies will become bright and sunny. One more unseasonably mild or warm day coming our way tomorrow before temperatures take a little bit of a plummeting back to more seasonable or more autumn-like conditions for Wednesday, Thursday, and probably a part of Friday as well. And then we warm up again for the upcoming weekend. First weekend is the first, it is the first weekend of October.
And we're probably going to see, in some inland areas, could see the first 30s.
Absolutely. We will perhaps see, and it may even be for parts of the lower Hudson Valley. I speak of perhaps Ulster County, Dutchess, Sullivan County. There could even be some frosty weather come Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and again, Thursday night, Friday morning.
Yep. And the other thing is, if you're looking for a drop, I was looking at the guidance today, Joe. We may have to wait till next Thursday before a cold front comes through with enough moisture with it, with the chance for some showers. I mean, it's not just the east. I mean, I'll show it when I pull up the models later. You're going to see there's about 3 days worth where you can't even find a green spot anywhere across the U.S.
A green spot, of course, making reference to the color used on these maps that we show everybody. A little bit of precipitation, and there is not going to be any precipitation.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, for a while.
What's that?
For a while.
For a while.
Yeah.
So, and with these two storms, by the end of the week, they'll be post-tropical and they'll be gone. The tropics are going to take a bit of a break. There's some hint on the longer range models that we may see the tropics pick up again, perhaps later next week.
I love how and I did not watch, let's say, NBC or ABC, but the CBS Evening News made it
This is
sound,
CBS, the Can't Be Serious Network.
well, I got to tell you something. They made it sound every bit like, wait a minute, drop everything. We have not one but two tropical systems on the map. And the second one, Imelda, is going to probably change into a hurricane. And Rob Marciano is going to be looking and seeing exactly what these two systems are going to do to the eastern United States in the next few minutes.
Oh, can we just. I don't even want to. It's futile. It's absolutely. This is the model that is news, that is television news. I thank God I am not part of this anymore. I really do, because it could never bring myself to do stuff like this. I mean, everything is apocalyptic. It's so. I'm surprised that no one's going to come out and say the fact that the weather's going to be great for the next 10 days is the result of climate change.
Well, I was watching last night. What was it? Was it ABC? I think it might have been ABC Channel 7 here in New York, where they had somebody. Well, maybe it was maybe it was NBC network, but they had somebody in South Carolina, and they were building it up. They're saying, "So, let's say his name is John. John, you're out there right now, and how does it look in terms of what Imelda's going to be doing over the next couple of days?" And you could see he was like almost fumbling and stumbling for words, not
Well, it
knowing how to
teeth.
put
There's
it.
nothing. I
How
mean,
he, no, but I mean, he knew that Imelda's effects were going to be minimal, if anything at all, on where he was standing, and he was trying desperately to make it. He had to do a 180-degree turnaround. Well, looks like right now, based upon the new information, that Imelda is going to be moving out to sea. And so it doesn't look like we're going to have to worry too much about the flooding and the.
you can envision that the guy had a teletype. This
Yeah.
just in, Imelda's going out to sea. Rips off a piece of paper. Imelda's going out to sea. Okay, that's our new information. Oh, brother. Like I said, I am so happy I am no longer part of that mania. They're all out of their minds. I mean, it's clearly done to just get people worked up over nothing, and this is a perfect example of that.
Well, I mean, and you and I have worked at news gathering agencies where we're told that we have to come in to attend the editorial meeting at 3 o'clock, let's say, and you've got your supervisor there saying, "All right, let's hear what do we have in terms of weather." And I mean, this has happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you, Joe. You say, "Well, we have a serious situation. There could be severe thunderstorms in the next couple hours, and we should prepare for
Right,
it."
and
And
then
what?
when they happen, they say, "How come you didn't tell me about this?
Where did these come from? Why didn't you tell me about the? And
Were
this
you
is,
at the meeting? Did you
yeah,
even listen?"
yeah.
I it, it it's oh I'm like I said, I'm glad. David Carter is so happy that I'm happy that he hit the tip jar tonight. Thank you, David Carter. Most appreciated.
Thank you,
Uh,
David.
and welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board and those of you who are lurking secretly in the background, because we know that people are watching from all sorts of places here. The Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Now we're going to probably take a break later this week and into this weekend, because we're just going to take a break. The weather's going to be great, so we're going to take advantage of it as well. So I'm
And the
thinking,
only one
Joe.
who and the only one who's really upset about all of this is Mr. Fairchild.
And he's on the board tonight too. So guess what, Ruben? We're going to be off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay.
I
So
mean, in block letters on the chat, we said, "So take some time off."
thank you. So we're going to be off. So tomorrow will be the last show of the work week. So we will be off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and we will be back Sunday night at 7:35. So I'm giving you everybody the schedule right now. Those of you who haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so, and turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And of course, if you like the show, even just a little bit, you can go ahead and hit the like button. This is one of those times when I can pull up the U.S. satellite. We're talking about two tropical systems, and they're both in view. So it saves me from having extra pages opened up. And here we have it. You can see that Imelda, by the way, is getting better organized as the bright white clouds that you see bursting there. That's convection wrapping around the center, which is actually pretty far offshore. Skies are mostly clear for the most part. Skies are clear over Florida. We've had a mostly dry day here in North Georgia. There were a few clouds around, but no downpours today. And then to the east of that, that's a little less than 600 miles, is Humberto, which is now beginning to look a little more ragged as it moves northward and about to turn to the northeast. That's going to pass north of Bermuda, and then Imelda's going to get shoved eastward and just probably go very close to the island. But I'm amazed that you got the high clouds. Actually, there's cirrus all the way up to Plattsburgh in upstate New York and in northern Vermont and New Hampshire.
It is. It's quite amazing that the just about the entire Atlantic seaboard is getting some sort of cloud cover. I was trying to figure out how should I word this forecast, and I just simply said considerable cloudiness. And tomorrow I've got mid to high level cloudiness, which should gradually, as the afternoon wears on, and as Imelda makes the sharp turn to the right and begins to pull all that moisture out to sea, a gradual improvement in the sky conditions. It should be mostly clear tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, lots of sunshine. But I point out to Renata, Joe, that come Thursday and Friday, we may see clouds again. Thin, high clouds. That is the atmosphere's reaction to a warming trend occurring in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It's going to turn quite chilly here for Wednesday and Thursday, but already we can see the impending warm up for the weekend, and some of that milder air will begin to overrun the cold dome of air that's over us Thursday and Friday, and that'll translate into high clouds, high cirriform clouds. And temperatures, well, we may have a tough time getting much above the mid 60s when we get to Wednesday or Thursday, and then we'll jump back to near 70 on Friday and into the 70s on Saturday, and maybe close to 80, would you believe, for later in the weekend and again into the early part of next week. Summer is going to return after a brief respite later on in this week.
I marked out a stick of clouds moving through southern Quebec, northern Maine, and northern New Brunswick. That is a weather front that you're not even going to really notice it go by tomorrow, other than the fact that the winds are going to turn northerly and northeasterly, and that will bring in the cooler air. I mean, this front really has absolutely nothing to it. And of course, once Imelda gets a little further to the east, and by the way, it is well east of the Florida East Coast. The center is way out there. And if you think back to last week, the models were taking it inland into South Carolina tonight, or even into southern portions of North Carolina, and that's where the difference was. The models were way too fast in moving that northward. If it had done that, it would have escaped the interaction with Humberto and then getting forced out to the east. It would have missed the trough, the deep trough that's forming in Atlantic Canada and points southward out into the Atlantic. That's turning these two systems. So that's why you always have to be careful with guidance, because I mean, in that case, just about 4 days ago, you've got an error of almost over 300 miles in terms of where the models were taking this. So, as always, you'll always learn lessons in the weather world. And meanwhile, we also have some moisture that's streaming up through Texas and into Oklahoma, western Oklahoma, and into parts of western Nebraska. There's also a lot of cloud cover out in the Pacific Northwest. And here's what the radar looks like. Now, they are getting rain in eastern areas of South Carolina and eastern North Carolina. There's maybe some heavier rain down near the coastal areas, but further inland you go, the lighter the rain is. And it's not enough for them to even put up some flash flood watches. So we don't even have that. And you can pick up the core, a little bit more of the core that's east of Florida. So all of the heavy precip with the center of the tropical storm is well offshore. We've got some showers maybe an isolated thunderstorm there in southwest Texas. That's actually not southwest Texas, but down in South Texas, west of San Antonio, and some light showers pushing up into Nebraska. A little bit of heavier action in New Mexico and in eastern Colorado, or it seems to this has been the case I think every day for months, where we've had showers and thunderstorms along and east of I-25. And then out in the west, it's actually quite busy. In Northern California and Nevada points northward, where we have areas of rain and even a few embedded thunderstorms going on there. No severe weather is forecast for the next 3 days. We don't have any severe thunderstorm watches up. In fact, when we look at the national map here, there were flash flood watches up earlier in parts of Texas. That's gone. And there's nothing in terms of adverse weather. You can see the tropical storm warnings that are up for the coastal waters, and hurricane warnings that are up in the brighter red, if you want to call it brighter red, and a few wind advisories out on the west coast. And that is just about it. And check out the 7-day rainfall. Now, I don't know what that little thing of green is, unless they decided to cover for 100th of an inch with what's on the radar tonight, on the radar echoes that are up into southern New Jersey. But again, I don't think much of that is even reaching the ground. But basically, it's no rain from New England to the northern mid-Atlantic, west through much of the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, the deep south, back toward the southern plains, just bone dry, and also bone dry in Arizona and the southern half of California. A little wet from Nevada northeastward up into Minnesota, and a bit more wet up in the Pacific Northwest. So let's look first at Imelda. The 5 o'clock advisory is 28.1, 77.3, moving north at 9. Top winds are 65 miles an hour. That's actually the 8 o'clock advisory, so they just put it out. You get breaking news here live on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And here's the forecast to turn northeastward from here. And if you follow this track, it goes right over the island of Bermuda. They have hurricane watches up for Bermuda right now. And then it just continues into the open waters of the Atlantic, gradually becoming post-tropical, probably late Thursday or early Friday, as it lifts up further north and goes into the high latitudes. And Humberto, which is ahead of this, as far as Bermuda is concerned, we have the 8 o'clock advisory yet for Humberto? No, we do not. 29.1, 68.1, moving north-northwest at 13, and top winds at 140. Looking at the satellite, I don't know about that 140, Joe, but it passes Bermuda by a fair distance to the west and then to the north, as it makes that sharp turn to the east-northeast, and then again also becoming post-tropical by the time we get to Thursday morning.
And let's also remind people, Joe, that it was back, I think it was on Thursday, that we were talking about our friend Rich Von Olin, who is now relocating to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Just goes to show you, folks, how sometimes you can't, go much more than 3 days out from these projections of tropical systems. We said back on Thursday that if everything was going to fall into place, that tonight or tomorrow, Rich would be having his hands full in Myrtle Beach, because it looked like at that time the storm was going to make a landfall close to or maybe right over Myrtle Beach. And now here we are showing you that the storm is going to be actually moving out to sea, going away from the southeastern coastline of the United States. Would have been nice to know this back late last week, but it just goes to show you again that sometimes you just can't, really, much beyond 2 or 3 days with tropical systems. Sometimes you really don't know exactly where they're going to go.
Well, here's the issue with respect to what's going on aloft. And, there's this deep upper low from Hudson Bay. Let's go back to last Friday. But here's the trough that's moving into Atlantic Canada and extending out into the Atlantic. And there's a little arm that comes down on Tuesday in Newfoundland down to New Brunswick. And that is just enough, and it's all you need, just enough that jet lowers down to southeastern New England, and it picks both systems up, and eventually they merge into that trough, and it goes goodbye. And in the meantime, we've got ridging building in the eastern part of the United States, and we're completely cut off from moisture. And that takes us, I'm up to Sunday afternoon here, and then we go into next week. We start to see the westerly start to come down a bit next week, and it's probably on Thursday. That's where you start to see these little short waves approach. One on Thursday. There's another one probably over next weekend. Not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. The atmosphere, we're going to be in a pretty, let's call it a special place with respect to nice weather and sunshine. You got a nice long stretch. You've got the weekend plans this weekend to go apple picking. Go right ahead. You got nothing's going to stop you, weather-wise, from doing anything you want to do for the next at least I would say at least through next Wednesday.
I would agree. There's not much to be too concerned about. We're going to have dry weather for the duration. I know that in some parts of New England now, in parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, it has been categorized as a severe drought, and it can only get worse from here over the next week or 10 days, or maybe 2 weeks, without much of any significant precipitation.
Yeah, I just rolled this big high coming down in eastern Canada, very strong, 1032 pressure, which for this time of year is pretty strong. But you look at what's going on precip-wise across the United States. I mean, except for the coast of the Pacific Northwest, that's it. And even there, it's nothing nothing that you have to worry about. There's a little bit of onshore shore flow moisture that shows up in Florida later this week, and you see the showery rains setting up for southern Florida Thursday and Friday. That's probably where you're going to see much of the action uh, later this week, and into this weekend, with some moisture in the Gulf of Mexico and just off the southeast coast because of the flow coming in from off the Atlantic. The one thing I would say is about next week is we'll and here's that front. That's the next front. That's next Thursday where we see showers.
Not this
Actually, that's
Thursday.
Wednesday. I'm sorry, that's Wednesday on the European. I think it's Thursday on the GFS. But that's the
Okay,
next front.
right. That's a week from Wednesday or Thursday.
Right.
Not this. Not
Not
this.
this week. Yeah, next week.
Right.
After that, yes, that is snow up in north in western Canada on the 11 or 12 days from now, as a storm system moves along there. And I would just say, in terms of the tropics, with the setup that we have here in the eastern states, probably later next week, just have to probably keep our eyes on the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, because pressures are going to be on the low side there. So if there's some kind of tropical wave that gets into the mix, and also probably out into the Atlantic a bit, east of the Leeward Islands. So if we wind up seeing something to develop, again, the surface pressures are going to be on the low side in that particular area. So that's where you would expect it to come up. And just a refresh here on the 8 o'clock advisory, if it's in, and no, it's still not in. It's 7:59, kids. Why have you not put out the advisory? Oh, I know why. I'm sorry. No, there isn't going to be an 8 o'clock advisory for Humberto because uh, initially they had tropical storm watches up, and then they took those down. So there's no in between advisory because of the track of Humberto is going to be far enough north and west that Bermuda is probably just going to get some, you know, stuff along the edges. The heavier stuff is going to come along, obviously, with Imelda. So, on that note, I think we could play a little bit of Briller Jeopardy tonight.
Yes, we have the questions, and we're going to bring them up right now. So hold on. We're going to get them. Yes, this is from Mr. Briller, and
I
boy,
think I think I have this. I have them.
no, this is Sunday 9:51 p.m. This is from
Uh,
last night.
well, he sent me Friday at 5:41 p.m.
Oh,
So
okay. Well,
I'm
then what this means is if that be the case, you can read your Briller Jeopardy set of questions tonight,
and then
and the
you read
ones that
your
he
set
sends.
tomorrow.
That's right.
Okay. So
It works for me.
we're still doing average low temperatures because we are low. Here we go for the month of September. We're going to start with Jacksonville, Florida.
Well, I will say I'm not going to say 70s. Maybe I should. No, I don't think so.
Um, I would say you can consider saying 70s.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Well, then how about 71?
Believe it or not, that's too low. Rich Rothmansky got it at 74.
Oh, okay.
Next, are you ready?
Yes.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Kansas City, here we come. Um, how about 64?
How about 64? That's actually a bit too high for Kansas
Well,
City.
sometimes the cool air
Bobby
goes over.
Livingsworth has got double nickels, and Rich Rothmansky's at 62. John M. is actually quite close, and Mike Waterhouse is quite close with 57 and 59. But Miss Fallerite, who is in that region, gets it correctly at 58. 58 for the average low in Kansas City in September.
That's for Miss Fallerite.
Vegas, Las Vegas.
Oh, God, Las Vegas? Jeez, what could it be in Las Vegas? 83?
That's a bit much.
All right.
83 for Las Vegas is a bit much.
Okay.
Uh, Conroy Jet says 75. Well, you're getting closer. John M. is not getting closer at 77. Pat BFD is even closer at 74. And Mike Waterhouse Bonsai is knocking on the door at 71. And come on, keep guessing, folks. You're in vicinity, they're in. Frank Scolari, you're a shade too high at 74. Okay. Conroy Jet has come back with 72. And that is the answer, Joe. 72.
72 degrees.
Yes.
Hmm.
Minneapolis. Give the man a bell ring.
I'm going to. Voila. Minneapolis. How about 54?
Give yourself a bell ring.
Oh, okay. Ring a ding a ding ding ding.
All right. Let's move on now. Nashville.
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 How about 67?
You were right to go for the 60s, but you are on the high end of the range here.
Oh, well.
So, but it was a valiant try. It was a
Well, how about Paul Roman? Paul Roman says 63.
63. Very close. Miss Fallerite and Northern Grace get it at 62. 62. Wow. Okay, International Falls is our bonus for tonight.
How about 48?
48. Okay, that is a very good guess. It is not the correct guess, but it's a very good guess. It's a very good guess. Mike Waterhouse Bonsai is close at 45, and so is Christina Pedia at 47. Therefore, the answer is who gets to get their name read out on the air? Chuck Cardillo. After really examining the data, Joe, really did a deep dive on the data. 46. He gets it. Love you, Chuck. 46.
Same for Michael McGuire, too.
Okay, I'm just going to show you this. there's a couple of things I want to show you here. First off, so we're going into October, so I've already seen people getting, foaming at the mouth over Siberian snow cover. So I figured, what the hey, let's do it. So this is the forecast snow taking us out through October 15th. So there appears to be healthy snow cover growth going on in Northeast Asia and in North Central Asia, and also you can see the snow growth down in the Himalayas. What's really important for those who follow this, Bill Goodman schooled me on this, is the area in western when you go to what you want to see the snow growth in western Siberia and toward Europe. Uh, that's the area we're going to watch. Now, you're probably not going to see much going on in the first half of the month, but the second half of the month, this is the area that's really important with respect to snow cover growth. So,
And we're talking about the first half of October. We're still in September for one more day, but that's pretty well out and gone by late tomorrow night. So,
right, exactly. Oh, and the other thing I want to show you, just give me a moment here. Let me bring this back up to us on the screen. It's going to take me just a second, Joe. I'm going to step away because I have to go to the other room to get it. All right, so hang on. I'll be right.
he's going away, going, he's gone.
So I got to put this where you can see it pretty good. So
He's
this
bringing out a
I got
contraption.
this. I was at my church, St. Francis of Assisi, here in Blairsville. So every year they have their fall festival, and it's people bring their stuff and they sell it for minimal price, and they donate the money to the church. This is an anniversary Lionel alarm clock. Okay. And it's set to go off at 9 o'clock because I really don't want this to go off while I'm still asleep. Usually by 9 o'clock, I'm at um, the dog park.
The dog park, yeah. Well, let me guess. When the alarm goes off, instead of a bell, you're going to hear wah
Yep.
wah.
Well, you can't see it.
I'm not. I can't hear. No, I can't.
Okay. Well, everybody else can. Um, so I got this for $10. It's the 100th anniversary edition from Lionel that they put out back in the year 2000. And it was in the original box, brand new, and it works perfectly. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm a Lionel train buff, folks. So just to let you know. So if you ever see any of this stuff, don't hesitate. Get it and then let me know. But for $10, couldn't go wrong. Anyway, I just wanted to show everybody that, just to give you an idea of where I spend my money.
All right. Well, that's pretty neat.
I thought so. So anyway, okay. So everybody have a great and safe night. And that is per Christopher Alley. And we will see you back here tomorrow night. So remember, we're going to take Wednesday through Saturday off. So after tomorrow, we will be back next Sunday at 7:35 p.m. So we'll see you guys. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
And who hit the tip jar tonight for us?
Oh, David Carter.
David Carter. Thank you very much, David.
Ta-ta, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Good night.